Good evening. It was a big weather night over northern parts of the South Island and lower North Island last night. Heavy showers and thunderstorms, even a tornado doing a little bit of damage in New Plymouth. Quieter today as the active trough slides away to the east. Now we have a large high moving in, and later in the news hour I'll tell you if we'll get any more rain before it arrives. Right now it's 6 o'clock.
More money's being ploughed into the Novo Pay debacle, but is it enough to placate angry teachers?
Who's the chief? Well, a Māori party leadership rift threaten its relationship with the government. And
Tiger's hooked again. See his new girlfriend, who's a regular visitor to New Zealand.
Kia ora, good evening. Schools hit by the Novo Pay debacle will get a share of $6 million in taxpayer compensation.
The money comes while the government says it needs more time to decide if it'll dump the payroll system. We have reaction from teachers in a minute, but first let's go to political editor Corin Dan with the details. Evening, Corin.
Good evening. Well, teachers have been screaming out for help for about 6 months now, and the government has finally come to the party. But as to whether teachers are going to have to put up with this Novo Pay system, well, I'm afraid we are still none the wiser. The government today accepting what schools have known all along: Novo Pay is costing them time and money.
So this is effectively money for the schools in their operational budgets, which they can use to pay more hours.
A one-off $6 million package of support is available for schools across the sector. Each will receive $500 plus an additional $105 for every full-time teacher. The money is to come from a special government fund for emergencies.
Obviously it's at the lower end of what I would expect the government to have come up with, but credit where it's due.
Also released today a technical review of Novo Pay by financial services firm Deloitte. That review concludes that overall the core software platforms are not stable for the current delivery of school payrolls. But it says the system can be salvaged for use over the next 8 to 10 years if there was a sustained effort from the ministry and Novo Pay provider Talent 2. So is the government prepared to make that extra effort or give Novo Pay the chop?
On the balance of risks at the moment, it would not be responsible to make that call now.
Mr Joyce saying he needs another 6 to 8 weeks to decide. His hand forced perhaps by previous provider Datacom saying it's not yet ready to step in.
The Datacom option is being worked up, but it is not at a point where there is enough mitigation of the obvious risks involved in it.
What today's announcement adds up to is $11 million they've poured into fixing up Heki Aparata's mistake.
A massive effort will now be made to clear the backlog of 19,000 pay mistakes. But with 526 defects still in the Novo Pay system, it's a backlog that will grow for some time yet.
All right then, Corin, how long will this compensation package last?
Well, this will carry things through to June. Now, that is when Stephen Joyce said he wants this mess cleared up. He wants things back to normal. That's his deadline. But if they can continue on after that, he hasn't ruled out more money. So what, we've already had $11 million to clean this mess up. It could cost more, although it's pretty clear the government, once we get to the end of this mess, will go after funds from Talent 2, the provider of Novo Pay.
Political editor Corin Dan.
But teachers are insisting it's too late. The ongoing pay saga has been a hot subject at mass union meetings across Auckland. Nicole Bremner's been gauging the mood.
The welcome party was fired up
To assess whether Novo Pay will survive. And at mass union meetings in Auckland, teachers insisted the compensation was too little too late.
And the Māori party is in turmoil over its leadership. Peter Sharple says he won't give up the party co-leadership until he's dead. His comments come after the party met at the weekend to try to put the crisis to rest. But in an unconventional move, the top job could be split 3 ways. A bit like reading the news at this time of night, because Andrew's here with sport. It's not just farmers keeping an eye on the grass.
You're all class, Simon. No, a lot of talk about the pitch about to be used for the third and deciding cricket test at Eden Park in Auckland. So will that third test end in a result with a helping hand for the bowlers? We'll find out next from the man who's preparing the pitch and why it might not be to the Black Caps' liking. Plus, look who's back and ready to play. A launch mishap for Team New Zealand's $1 million wing sail. And what is it with poles and Tiger? Eldrick Woods, his new Snow Queen, and the Kiwi connection.
What we're dealing with in his brain is also melanoma.
There's a risk